So, hi everyone. You may probably be wondering, why is this called a think tank? If this guy is so alone, right? Like, usually a think tank is like a lot of people, etc. Well, today it isn't about having a lot of people. It isn't about collaboration exactly. Today it's just about having a lot of thoughts. So we're going to have a place where we're going to have a lot of thoughts that will become clearer in a second. But perhaps as an introduction, I just wanted to ask you, what's the problem with ChatGPT? What do you think is wrong with ChatGPT?
No sources, open source.
No sources. It isn't open source. What's the problem with Llama, with Gemma, with something that's open source? Hallucinations. Well, I wouldn't say it's necessarily hallucinations. I'm gonna give you something else. So, I went to do some pottery last week, and I did something horrible. I mean, this is really bad. I know you can't see it, but I just tried to paint like the doors of Dublin, and it didn't work. It was very bad. What happens here? You know that this is human because it's horrible, right? I did something, but it has a special value just because I did it. It wasn't AI, it wasn't a factory, it's not artificial. We value things that are human, and my project today is just about this thing. So the think tank is about making things more human. And, I'll just explain to you a little bit the basic idea and then we'll see the app working. But I think it's better to understand what we are going to see in a second before we actually look at that. So what we want is to have a profile of who you are. Why? Well, because if we have a profile of you, you know how I write, you know who I am, you know what I like, the expression that I use, what I've been through, a lot of things about yourself. And if you know all of that, you can take a text that was written, for example, by ChatGPT, something like this, right? ChatGPT, and then you can rewrite it in your own style. You can put it in your words, and you can get something like this. Left is AI, ChatGPT, right is my text. Of course, I don't know if that's gonna happen now when we try the system, right? Because we're gonna try it 100% live, so I haven't tested anything. But we're gonna see how this works, and I'll explain, but we'll take a look at that in a second. So let me just go to the app here, and I'll just close this thing. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna sign up, right? We're gonna start from the very scratch. So I'm gonna delete all of the database, nothing here, we don't want anything at all, just all from scratch. Let's see how this works. So, delete. Okay, very good. So now we're here. This is the app. So I created a Google Drive Gmail account for a guy that's called Theodore. That's my name here. So I'm Theodore here. And I have some documents here. I have some things that are, for example, like technical documentations. Well, this is not about me, right? This is just, project docs, things like that. I don't know, what else? I applied for a building permit. This is not about me. But there's other things that are perhaps more personal. I went to my Google Drive and I copy and pasted things. But there's things. Some of them are in Spanish, etc. But there's many things here, right, about myself. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna sign in with Google, and I'm gonna just sign in here. Continue. Okay, signed in. So these are my Google documents. Now, of course, if I want to create a profile about myself, I don't want to use everything, right? Like, for example, we saw that there's some technical documentation about what I do, etc. No, we don't want to use that. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna let the AI evaluate what should I take and what should I not take to build my profile. Of course, it takes a lot of time because I didn't take time to optimize this, right? It's just sequential, it could be parallel, but for example, you see those things about like, yeah, the building permit, the project documentation, yeah, I mean, we don't care about this, right? Very good. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to analyze my writing style, right? We want to generate a profile of the things that that I know, etc., etc. So what's happening here? You see that a little bit. Yeah, it's reading documents, and then it's processing all of that. So this is my profile. It's right. Oh, great. Okay, so a lot of dramatic, passionate moments of wit, blah blah. Conversational yet precise. No, a lot of things about me. Okay, great. Let's see here a little bit some things that I have, right? Something that you'll probably realize is that I really have like a lot of documents in Spanish, so maybe it will write some things in Spanish. I don't know. But you see, I can go here, I can change my profile. So, for example, I don't know, capable of vivid imagery and technical clarity, maybe vivid imagery only. Yeah, okay, vivid imagery. What else? I don't want Spanish references here, advanced in English. You see, I can just edit this thing, I can change my profile. This is the memory, right? I can put as many things as I want here. I can add things about my punctuation style, a lot of stuff. Now, okay, let's say this thing, I have my profile. Now, let's go to ChatGPT. Where do I have this thing? ChatGPT. Very good. So I just asked ChatGPT to write a story about today's weather in Dublin and how I want to finish part. Right? Good. Well, I mean, we can choose another thing if you want. I don't know if you have ideas. With this one? This one? Okay. Or...
No, you go to
Okay, so let's take this thing and let's paste my AI text. Good. Now, let's humanize the text. So what's going to happen here is that I'm going to extract the key ideas of the text. I don't want the style of ChatGPT, but I want the contents of the text, right? So that's what I'm going to do first. I'm going to extract the ideas and then I'm going to rewrite the text. But I'm going to rewrite the text with a thing, and I promise you, you haven't seen this at work because literally I came up with this technique last week, which is what I call ADHD writing. You know what's ADHD, right? It's when you can't pay attention to something. So that's what I'm going to ask the model to do. I'm going to ask the model to think, to have thoughts, like here. So for example, thought. Sounds great of Dublin, reminds me of Lugano's morning fog. I used to live in Lugano. How it used to cling to the lake. Now, why do I have this in my text? It's because the next thing that comes after that is going to be influenced by that thought. So I have a thought, and then I write a sentence. If I do this thing all the time, the text is going to become much more random and much more personal to me. So here I was talking about a lake, Lugano's morning fog, and you see, now I start my text with the morning sky stretched over Dublin like a woolen blanket today, blah, blah, blah. This is not what ChatGPT wrote. Now I'm writing the same content, but I'm writing it in a different voice. I'm giving different anecdotes, I'm giving different examples, I'm giving different ways of explaining the thing that I want. It's the same content, but I explain it in my own voice. My own personal touch is here. So this is the first version. You can see that I have, like different thoughts, the amateur. Oh yeah, I used to like to do radio when I was like a child. So you see here, it put like my Spanish expression here, the clouds, blah, blah, blah. You see, it's taking everything it knows about me and it's using that to write the text. But that's not everything. I mean, that's probably enough, but you can see that we have a quality score here. What's the quality score? Well, so the quality score, it's actually a metric that I really like, which is that here we try to match the fact that the text is the sort of the original length, more or less. That's a very simple metric, right? Like, I don't want to have a very short text if my original text was long. That's a part of the metric, but also the other thing that I use is spacey. I don't know if you know spacey. It's a library that we use to control exactly an NLP library. What do you do with that? Well, you use spacey to parse the entities that appeared in the first text and the entities that are in your new text. If there's a big degree of overlap between the two texts, that means if you're talking about the same things, if you're covering the same concepts, your score is gonna go up. So you see we have some iterations. We start with a lower score. Here we started with a 65%. You know, the first version that we rewrote was a 65%. Now we went up to 75, 85, 95. When we get to 90, we just stop the process. So yeah, it's all done. Now let's go here. So let's check. Well, I'll just say yeah. Okay. Let's paste this is the original text, right? I think that was the example that I put in the slides. Yeah, 86%. Okay, let's see what's this thing. Of course, I have no idea because I didn't. Well, I don't know what it's gonna be. So if it fails, don't blame me. Okay. I mean, this needs perfection. You know, I did like in I don't know.
Just for Mike, it's something that detects auto AI generation.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, I didn't expect. Yeah. This is a detector. Yeah. This is a Ghostbuster. It's basically like, but yeah, it's a guy in Berkeley that wrote this thing. Yeah. Okay. Let's check.
Oh, there you go.
Aha. Now it's my text. So yeah. Okay. Let's go back. Let's finish. That's why I called it the think tank. It's not about collaboration. It's actually very much about myself. But it's a place where I gather my thoughts, it's a place where I gather who I am, and I make the text my own. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
So I have a quick question. First of all, great job on this. But I was curious to understand, like in terms of the retention of that memory, right? Because if we say, like, obviously the way I write will change over a period of time, and like because of ideas, opinions that keep forming. So how is that catered to as well? Like, how do you look at extending this going forward?
So you mean like how can you like
the style of my writing will change. So like as it changes, is there a way in which
Yeah. Actually, that's a great question. I didn't talk about that. So if you go to your profile, so I mean, there's two things that you can do. The first thing, I already mentioned that, right? The first thing is that you can change this part. I mean, you can add new things, you can remove things, of course. But the other thing that you can do is you can refresh your profile. So, I mean, that could be better. You could have like an iterative process that ingests some documents, etc. It's a possible improvement. Another improvement that I think would be a very nice touch, but I didn't have time to program that, is that you could get your WhatsApp conversations and extract everything you've talked about, all of your life experiences from your WhatsApp conversations, and that could go in here. And then it knows you. The question I mean, I didn't do it because I didn't have time, but also because there's another point here, which is, aside from privacy, the other point is, do I want my texts that I write for school, my texts that I write for university, do I want that to know that I got drunk last week? Do I want that to know that which is what I say in WhatsApp, right? Probably not. So that's why I think for now the refreshment profile is the best option. But there's the possibility of having this system iterate and relearning over time, yes.
Okay. And is this something that on a day-to-day basis, for me, it's like, where would I use it? Is it like just in writing emails or like, reports, university transcripts? Is it targeted towards that? Or who did you have in mind as the ideal customer or ideal first person who'd like to use this?
So that's another great question, actually. Who's the target of this thing? I mean, so the person that I have in mind mainly is a high school student, maybe college student.
Okay.
I envision this more for, let's say, essays, academic texts, things like that. That's why I did the integration with Google Drive. You know, it could have been with Gmail if you wanted to copy your emails, but the way that I see this, like as my target, is more like a student who wants to write a text and wants to write that text in their style. It learns how you write. It learns, you know, what I wrote for my high school, and then it uses that to keep writing the next text that I write in my same tone of voice. So that's how it works.
I think I missed it probably, but how did you extract like a profile out of the Google account?
So what you do to extract your profile basically is that we had a step where you selected documents that were talking about you. And what you can see is that in many of those documents, I'm just going to show you here. So for example, here I had something. I wrote this for when I lived in Switzerland. It's about how much I liked Switzerland. It was a great place, etc. And what it does is it analyzes how I write, the things that I lived. So for example, here we have something about chocolate, Switzerland, I lived here, I did this, I did the other thing. That's one of the things that it extracts. It's in your life experience. There's a section of the app that stores your life experiences.
So all the Google Docs, it will just extract the text from that and make your profile.
But there's another very important part of this, which is that it learns how you use punctuation, which is actually a very important thing. Because ChatGPT tends to write this dash thing. Yeah, the end dash. It tends to write that, but actually, some people don't use it. I mean, I use it. Personally, I do use it, and I look like I've written everything with ChatGPT when sometimes I haven't actually used ChatGPT to write that. But for example, something that I do is I tend to use short sentences as well, things like that. It learns how you write. Do you use colons? Do you use, I don't know, parentheses, things like that? That's crucial, and that's something that goes into the app as well.
Did you test this against yourself to see how much?
So yeah, I mean, those are my texts. I mean, I need to use something to build the app. So yeah, I put my texts in.
Did you like benchmark? Is this like the yourself and then you put it in a checker? Is it?
Oh, I mean, it's what we saw before, right? So we took a text from ChatGPT, and now we have the new version of it. You mean if I wrote a text myself?
Yeah.
I didn't bother to write something.
No, like can you compare? So you can say that it's not similar to an AI generated text, right?
Exactly.
But have you a way of comparing it to say, yes, this is very similar to my text? To validate that.
Oh, that's a very good question. Well. I didn't evaluate that. Actually, I didn't evaluate that. That would be really good to.
You just put this text in, which is you've written this text on your own, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you put this
You put your own text into the AI checker.
Yeah, I was wondering.
Let's see. Let's see.
What score would it?
Yes, just so the presentation will go on forever with this operating store.
Yeah.
Just as a caveat.
Finish off in here.
Okay. I do think we can keep these exciting chats.
No. Okay. 24%.
Ironically, your AI solution reduced your AI score compared to your own writing.
Yeah. True.
So, I guess, but
The documents you stole from elsewhere make you sound less like AI.
Yeah.
Well, the problem with these AI checkers is they are quite finicky, though.
Well, I mean, some of them are actually quite accurate. Like I really like this one. Like I mean, it's not perfect.
I will tell you honestly, I generate all of my essay assignments with AI, and I get 90%.
Oh yeah.
So I can tell you that turn it in, for example, is very finicky with AI text, especially if you do it piece by piece. But this is a good measure.
Yeah. And so to be honest, a fun fact: I had real issues finding text to put here in this Google Drive because I just realized that I haven't actually written something 100% for the last 4 years, basically. So I had to go back to my high school texts. But yeah, you had a question.
No question, but I would be interested in putting your text again and again and again, over and over again into the system.
Seeing what happens if I put my text in my. That's a good question. That's a good. We can try it later.
You guys can show her later. You guys
Check it out later, but I think
Yeah.
fantastic.
Good. Thank you.